Welcome to I Drink Your Podcast.
Oh gosh, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You leave me no choice. Here comes the smolder.
Wait, you like that?
No,
you don't like that?
No, I don't like that.
No, how about that? You like that?
A little better.
Bread makes you fat?
Does this count as annoying?
Just tell me what you want me to fuck!
Not you, and not you.
Okay, I think it's time to take off your clothes and jump me.
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool?
I drink your podcast! I drink it up!
Welcome to I Drink Your Podcast. This is Emily, and you are listening to the podcast that talks about a year within a year. We are currently in our 2010 season, and we're very happy to have you all here. We also have some other people that are super happy to be here, right? Ben.
Ecstatic to be here, Emily.
Oh my goodness. Can't wait. Brandon is also joining us.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up?
And we are very excited you decided to join us on this apocalyptic journey. Ooh, yes, I know. Before we get started, Brandon, what is in your glass?
I actually have Mellow Yellow because that's what I had left over from McDonald's, and I'd imagine that in the apocalypse, a lot of people are drinking urine, so that's why I have it.
Yeah.
Ben.
I'm drinking water to prevent my urine from being yellow.
I am drinking something that is not quite water, but is definitely blue-ish, like water should be. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm drinking a Sex on the Driveway.
Whoa!
But literally because it's bluish like water. That's it.
Not a lot of sex in this movie.
Yeah.
Not a lot of driveways in this movie.
We just won't go through that. If you haven't figured out yet, we watched Book of Eli, which is available to stream on HBO Max and Peacock if you have either of those, which I don't. So
How would they have figured that out that we're watching Book of Eli based on our drinks? Mellow yellow water and sex on the driveways.
mine was a dead giveaway. Come on. Ben, tell us about this movie.
Book of Eli is currently at 47% on Rotten Tomatoes and was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Sci-Fi Film and Best Actor for Denzel Washington. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure how I allowed this to make the cut. It does not fit any of the criteria I set for myself. I don't know how we're watching this.
You just said it got a 47 on Rotten Tomatoes?
47%.
It made money. Maybe that was one of your criteria.
It did make a lot of money. I'm pretty sure I saw it on someone's top 20 list on one of the sites that I used to compile.
And you were like, oh yeah, I should definitely do that.
Well, and then I knew the twist, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Oh man. Wow, that would have been disappointing to know ahead.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. This movie is directed by the Hughes brothers. They also directed Menace to Society, Dead Presidents, and From Hell, along with Tupac and Korn music videos.
Not Dead Presidents from Hell?
I like that idea for a movie.
I love that movie idea.
Yeah.
They also did American Pimp, which is a documentary they did. It was very good.
Okay. That followed me around, didn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, that was the camera. That was why the camera crew was around me.
That's right. That's exactly
Shut
what
the
it
fuck
was.
up.
All the hoes.
Oh my God, stop. What are you, Gator?
I was going to go with White Wolf. I thought White Wolf would kind of work a little better.
I just was tying it back to, like our other 2010 movie that we covered a little bit ago.
Right. Yeah, these bitches better be wearing jimmies.
Oh God.
30 winters ago, the war tore a hole in the sky. Only a few survived. Our only hope is in my hands.
Take off the pack, nice and slow.
Put that hand on me again, you won't get it back.
Starring in this movie is Denzel Washington, a very famous actor. What's your favorite Denzel Washington movie, y'all?
Good question. I don't know. I didn't like Unstoppable, but I didn't think he was bad in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's ever been bad in anything.
He was good in American Gangster.
Yeah, and I didn't like American Gangster.
Right, I didn't really like it either. It was fine.
I think my favorite one is probably Flight right now.
Okay.
I think Flight's my favorite. I mean, you could always go with his classic stuff. Like he was amazing in Malcolm X, which he should have gotten an award for. Glory, which he got one for. Training Day. What else was really good? I haven't seen the Macbeth movie yet. The newest
I've heard it's really good.
I've heard the same thing.
But I mean, he's been good in everything. Like I can't think of anything he's been good in. He has not been good in, rather. Fallen is really dope. It's very underrated.
Oh yeah,
very, very underrated.
I'm looking through his movies, and I think the only movie that like I really watched growing up was Remember the Titans. So
good though.
I mean, it is, but also I feel really bad. I haven't like seen him in anything.
If you get a chance, you should watch Inside Man.
Okay.
Inside Man is amazing. That's
really
probably
good.
I think that's one of Spike Lee's best movies.
Yeah, I agree.
Are we gonna go through this for every actor that's in this movie? Because I like this.
All three of them.
Let's go.
That I have listed.
Yes.
Let's go.
Gary Oldman also in this movie. What's your favorite Gary Oldman movie or performance?
He's so good in Fifth Element.
The Professional, cuz. The Professional.
Oh yeah. Leon, baby.
Love him in The Professional. He was so dope. Gosh, he's good in everything too. Is he bad in anything? Like honestly, is he?
There's a movie. I'm pretty sure it's called Tiptoes, where he plays a little person.
Oh, okay.
Find the trailer for that. It looks batshit crazy. He's probably still good in it. He's Gary fucking Oldman. I really like Dracula. I liked his performance in that.
So good.
Yeah, he killed. I didn't like Dracula, but I liked him in Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I found Tiptoes. Wow, I'm not gonna.
No, don't
say
watch
that for
later.
Yeah.
Okay, last one we'll call out Mila Kunis. What's your favorite Mila Kunis thing?
Thing, not just movie.
It could be TV show. She's mostly known for TV.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah,
that is a really good one.
That's the answer right there.
Honestly, she fucking shines in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Get over it.
Yeah, that's
great. And Get Over It.
I don't know if I remember what that is.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Rashawn's favorite movie about Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, she's in that. That's right.
Yeah, she dances with Cisco.
Yep, that's right.
I don't think I've seen that.
Well, it's worth a look.
It's not.
Oh, honorable mention to Ray Stevens, though I think Ray Stevens still dope, even though he gets a lot of regular
fucking love
stuff.
him.
He's still one of my favorite Punishers.
You know what? I do love Mila Kunis in Friends with Benefits. I did forget about that movie.
Okay.
I really enjoy that one.
That's a fun one. I think we are going to do that one. Before we dive too deep into Book of Eli, Emily had not seen this movie before. So, Emily, what did you think this movie was about?
Because of my confirmation days when I was kind of into religion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just what all the kids were doing, right? And it felt like I needed to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I've read more of the Bible than I think I've wanted to in my lifetime. And so I was like, yeah, there's definitely books of people. So Book of Eli. Yeah, who's Eli? And so, yes, there is an Eli in the Bible, but I was like, I don't want to do this evil Eli character. Who cares? And then I started thinking about my experience of going to a Catholic university when I was very not religious, but we had to take 3 theology classes and talking about all of these different gospels that were written and left out. Like the Gnostic gospels sound so fucking cool. Just like Jesus as a kid growing up and just straight up murdering people. And everyone's like, no, we shouldn't have that in there. We should just keep that out. Jesus is great. We're just going to skip from born to 30 years old or something. So I felt like this movie had to be the story of the forgotten brother of Jesus named Eli.
Eli Christ.
Yes, Eli. He complains the whole time that no one pays attention to him, and he compare him to his older know-it-all brother. I picture Seth Rogen as Eli and James Franco as Jesus. That's exactly what I was picturing. They definitely get into more than one flailing fist fight, which is a lot of slapping of hands. But then later they have a tender moment of drinking a bunch of water turned to wine in a reconciliation. And Jesus promises Eli he won't be forgotten. But then when the Bible comes out and Eli just swears, Jesus fucking Christ, cuts to credits with an obnoxious pop song.
See, I feel like if Jesus was James Franco, that he would turn grass into weed.
Definitely.
I mean, it could be just a straight up Pineapple Express stoner Christian movie. But, you know, as soon as I was like, oh yeah, who are playing these brothers? Yeah, it's these two. Especially in 2010. It seemed very fitting. I didn't get that. Didn't get that movie.
I mean, you got the Bible part right. Like,
okay, it's called Book of Eli.
There's a ton of books that aren't the Bible, Emily.
Yeah, but called Book of something? Come on.
Brandon, what is this movie actually about?
Eli walks alone in a post-apocalyptic America. He heads west on a highway of death on a mission he does not fully understand, but knows he must complete. In his backpack is the last copy of a book that could become the wellspring of a revived society, or in the wrong hands, the hammer of a despot. Denzel Washington is Eli, who keeps his blade sharp and his survival instincts sharper as his quest thrusts him into a savage wasteland and into explosive conflict with a resourceful warlord set on possessing the book.
You don't even get the religious aspects from that.
No, it doesn't even say in there that it's the Bible.
I mean, we don't realize it's the Bible until like the third through the movie, maybe the middle.
You knew right away based on the title you just told me.
I assumed it was going to be something related to religion. I didn't think like it was like, oh, we're looking for this book. It's the Bible. Did not think that was gonna when they throw out the Da Vinci Code as they're like looking and trying to find all these books, I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. What book are we trying to find?
Mm-hmm.
But then it alludes to it way more heavily.
So I actually saw this at the movies.
Did you really?
Yeah, I saw this at the movies when it came out. I'm a Hughes Brothers fan though, so like they were that in between like, okay, now there's some black guys that are directing that are doing some really cool stuff and that are getting huge budgets to do it. So like a movie like Dead Presidents, which kind of, if you haven't seen, is very, very good, especially like the third act gets a little bit, but the first, the act 1 and 2 is really good. When you get like even From Hell, which is very underrated, some people who've seen it actually really like it. I really like this movie too, but it's like I like not knowing, and kind of like you kind of figure out, okay, this is what it is. Even like all like the cues in it, even like what happened, how they don't show what happened. I really like not seeing what happened and just seeing the aftermath, as that's what made the film better for me. Again, I like the Hughes brothers, so they kind of like, it looks like they were challenging themselves every single time with every movie they did after Menace to Society. So I saw when it first came out. I'm a Hughes Brothers fan. They don't really do any movies for real anymore, but I liked the movie when I first saw it.
Okay. Ben, how did you know what the twist was prior to seeing this movie?
Yeah, I had a friend tell me after going to see it in theaters that they hated it because of the twist at the end. And I do think that your liking or disliking of this movie is dependent on how you feel about the twist.
Okay.
This is my first time watching it. And watching it knowing the twist, but not knowing how the twist played out, just that this is what happens, it made the watch very difficult for me. And I don't think I liked the movie as much as I would have had I not known what was happening, because the entire time I'm going, no, he's fucking blind. He can't do that. Why are his eyes focusing on people? He can't see. So that was really difficult for me trying to watch it, knowing where this was going.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see the twist coming. I would say that my first time seeing this movie, if I had known that he was blind throughout the whole thing, I don't think I would have liked it as much, for sure. So similar to what you just said, Ben, and I didn't know the twist going into it. But as soon as the twist happened, I just felt like everything else that I had like grievances about, I was like, oh, that's why that's happening. Or all the little things, I guess it just kind of went by the wayside. I didn't see him where his eyes were focusing on characters or where he may have done something that he probably would not have done normally as a blind person. But generally, I think I might have liked this movie. I had a lot of problems with it, but generally, I think I had a good time.
Oh, this is only the second time I've seen it. The first time I watched it, I'm not gonna lie, I really liked it when I first saw it. Second time I watched it, okay, he's blind, so all the small stuff, like when he walks into when he opens the car door and he's looking for the actual guy's boots, I'm thinking like, how come he doesn't just look down and see he's a skeleton? Like you can tell that, but he's feeling for boots, and I'm thinking in my head, like, when I watched it the first time, did I recognize that? And then, like, the guy who's actually in the closet, he grabs his lapel first to see how tall he is. Mm-hmm. Then he goes down. Then he goes to the actual boots. I'm like, okay. And even, like, the one part where, like, the no trespassing, he's like, did you see the sign? Oh,
yeah, he didn't see it.
I didn't see the sign. And I was like, how did I not notice some of this stuff? But then again, you're not thinking that because he's doing all these extraordinary things.
Yeah.
And I know that there's different levels to being blind. You know what I'm saying? So you could probably still do a lot of this stuff and see images and kind of know what stuff is. But like, I think to me, I'm just amazed at how they were able to keep that up through the whole film. And it's so subtle. I'm like, damn, Denzel is killing this shit. Like, how is he, like, even when he bumps into the nightstand, like he's doing small things that you just don't know. He's smelling stuff. I'm like, this is a whole lot of stuff that I didn't really notice the first time. So I liked it. Even the twist at the end I liked. I still like it even to this day. I thought it was pretty good.
I was reading online that generally people felt like this didn't add to the apocalyptic movie sort of collection that there is. And I was kind of thinking about it and going, okay, well, what apocalyptic movies have I actually seen? I've seen Mad Max, which very oversaturated in colors. It's very bombastic. It has kind of like a history to it. And I've seen like some zombie movies, like Warm Bodies. I've seen Shaun of the Dead. There are some of those kinds of movies that I've seen. But and now I've seen I Am Legend, obviously, from our time on the show. But I'm just curious, do you feel like this added anything? Because I felt like looking at it from my lens, seeing this movie, I was like, what? The only thing I have to compare it to is a movie that comes out after it, and I Am Legend, which is a little bit before.
What's interesting about this movie to me is that it was obviously a post-apocalyptic one. Like you get that from the very first frame, like just this is a post-world situation. However, the movie felt a lot more like a Western than it did a science fiction movie. So I think it added a lot more to the way Westerns are made than it did to the science fiction part of it.
Because I would agree with that. I definitely got some like samurai feelings from this movie, especially just watching Denzel Washington fight. He was very calm, collected, and it felt very reminiscent of just these idolized samurai stories of just this intensely powerful individual, this lone wolf that's able to defeat a large smattering of bandits. Brandon, you're into samurai stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. Who isn't? Who is not into it? But it does kind of have a Western feel to it, even though it's like I said before, like I like how they don't. I was telling my wife this, like I like how they don't explain what happened. Well, they'll explain it, but they didn't show it. So like you don't know what the Flash was. You don't know, it could have been a whole nuclear war. We don't know, but we know when people came back, there were some people who were just flat out blind, could not see. People were blind before. And then there were people that had become cannibals, and the whole hand thing at first, like I forgot what the hand thing was. Like, oh, if you're twitching, you're eating human meat.
I thought they were like aliens or something.
Oh, right. I could not remember what it was until the very end. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. That's how these old people have been living out here for so long. They've been eating people.
Right.
I liked it. It kind of felt like it's a Viggo Mortensen movie. Is it The Road?
The Road, yeah.
Oh, with his son?
Yeah, how it's like it's so far after the fact. that like, you know, it's humanity's trying to come back. So it's like that that in between time to where it's not always set. There's still these little rogue factions all over the place. It felt like that, but and again, looking at it now, it did kind of have like a Mandalorian feel to it, to where it is this very Western, very like new Western type feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
I found it interesting, Brandon, that you brought up that they didn't really show kind of what happened, because especially in the first third, I didn't know what had happened, but they give so many visual clues. You know, they have these big craters, they have a lot of dust. The beginning, they have like an ash storm. You know, there's this skeleton that's sitting in these like melted, decaying cars. And I don't even think that anyone says anything for the first like 10 minutes. And so, yes, they do explain things a little bit later in the movie, but I liked the beginning where you're just kind of guessing what happened, even though I do still have qualms about this entire movie.
Mm-hmm. When the movie started and we got 10 minutes in, I said to myself, this movie's more Sad Max than Mad Max. Because it definitely felt like it was trying to be a Mad Max movie. And I'm not talking Fury Road. I'm talking the 80s ones with Mel Gibson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was the feel I got. And there was a little bit of The Road, but The Road is a unique beast. If you haven't seen that movie or read that book,
it's very good.
The movie's not as good as the book, but yeah, this movie, it sounds like you guys both liked it. I'm a little more on the fence on it. And it's because of knowing the twist, but also, man, it was just not fun to look at for the most part.
Yeah, we can talk about that a lot.
Oh, like the sepia tone and there's no color, but I mean, that's what you would think it would be if it was a straight Fallout and everything's dust. Even if you had something that was colorful, it's going to be brown.
Yes, however, I felt like there was just so many dark moments, not like this is so dark and depressing, but like literally the shadows of how they were placed. And yes, it felt similar to the 2015 Mad Max because there was this like weird contrast feel to the sepia tones. I don't know how else to describe it other than it felt really saturated with brown. It just made things look sort of animated.
Yeah, so I love that you use that word, Emily, because it reminded me a lot of like the backgrounds of 300 or a Zack Snyder film.
Oh, yes, that's it.
You're trying to recreate that graphic novel look, and it makes the background kind of pop in this weird way that I feel didn't really fit for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. I even felt watching some of the wide shots, I was like, this is just a perfect page from a graphic novel. You know, this whole story felt like it could be right from a comic. And I guess I am glad that you said that because I forgot that I thought that.
Well, as we're digging deeper into this movie, let's talk about who won this movie.
I will start. My fucking favorite part of this movie was literally George and Martha. Oh my God, I fucking love them. The two cannibals were charming and weird, and I believe one of them was Michael Gambon, right?
Was it?
I'm pretty positive it was him. I think it was Dumbledore.
Blowing my mind if that's true, because I did not pick up on that at all.
Who's that again? Who are they? What were they in?
Oh my God, it is Michael Gambon.
It's fucking Dumbledore.
See, I'm not
Harry Potter person. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I loved their interactions right from the start when Denzel Washington just like slightly opens the door, just tries to, and it's suddenly a trap and they fall down. And it's these two old people that have been living in this house, just eating people and playing records and hanging out. I was like, this is weirdly charming and endearing. I love this. I love their interactions. Definitely my favorite part.
Yeah, my winning has to do with that scene as well, but it has to do with the action cinematography.
Oh yeah,
of the shootout.
Hell. Yes,
I really enjoyed the creative way that they found to bring us into the house and take us out of the house by following the weapons being thrown or used. It was very interesting to watch and not something I had ever seen before, and I really appreciated that. All of the action cinematography in this movie, even the fight scenes, like the way that they use the rotating camera around the fight scenes and kind of shot them wide to really let you see the space and all of the movements that are happening within it and the way the people come in and out of frame.
Right, that first fight scene.
Yeah, the silhouette one
lighting.
At the bridge.
Oh my gosh, how cool was that to just introduce this character? I can't think of anything more graphic novel than that. That was so fucking cool.
I lost my shit on that. Like, again, I was like, damn, this shit's badass. I had to watch it 2-3 times in a row. Like, that shit is so damn. It's just tough. Like, he's like the old dude. Like, he's got to be in his 50s. Gotta be in his 50s, right? Mm-hmm. These guys are probably, maybe 20-something, don't know anything else other than this life. Aren't half, like, whatever he was doing before, you either trained it or you had to learn something himself and learn how to fight multiple people at once, because he's constantly turning. And it's like, when he steps into the shadows, I was like, oh, this is going to just be badass as fuck. He washed every damn body. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Well, then the wide shots giving us the views of the makeup or limb effects. Also, when he would cut off a hand or cut off a head. Like, the makeup is really good in this movie also.
His scars on his back?
Yes.
Oh my God. Like, that is a image of him, the intro to Eli's character. That intro of him just kind of sitting by the fire. He's listening to this Al Green song. He's washing himself with these KFC wipes. He's got these just intense scars on his back. And this whole time, you're just like, who the fuck is this? And then, of course, he says to a rat, "You'll like it. It's Cat." When he gives Cat to a fucking rat. Like, who is this guy? Really intriguing.
That and like I think like the discipline of this character. You don't know how long he was sitting out there throughout all that ash and that fallout, waiting for something to come by. Even like the discipline to actually clean himself, because he knows that's like an advantage he has if he can smell somebody else. Just the discipline reading the Bible every day. That's like a totally different level of discipline, I think, to actually do that and to be able to still like stand by your principles, and especially in a time where there are none.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different levels why I like it. If I had a winner, gosh, it'd probably be it's just gonna be the cinematographer. I'm not gonna bullshit. Like, but like along with that, I think this is probably one of like the first films that I've really paid attention to like the editing a lot, and it's actually like a lady who's editing it. I forgot her name. I had her name here a minute ago. The editor is Cindy Malo. She ended up doing Mad Men. She did a few episodes of Ozarks, and she did House of Cards. So it's like she's been editing. Well, recently she's been editing a lot now, and like the DP, Don Burgess, he's done. He did Source Code, Priest, Flight, 42. He did another really good movie that's about another blind guy called Blind Fury. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. It's like 80s. It's a bit dated, but like you'll see some of the fights and you'll be like, oh, okay, now I see where some of this stuff came from. He also did Castaway and he did T3. So like,
okay,
there's a lot of talent behind the camera along with the brothers. But for me, it's always good. It's in this film, just for that silhouette scene alone, it's the DP. Like you can't, if you don't give it to the DP, if you're a film person, there's definitely a problem. That was amazing.
Other good from this movie?
I think I mentioned that I really liked a lot of the wide shots. Just generally, I thought that they really added a lot to the world building, especially in the beginning. Even though, yes, they had some weird feelings of 300 animated style sometimes, especially when there was like a city that was edited in that looked really dilapidated and destroyed. But generally, I felt like there were a lot of really wonderful shots, like Brandon was saying, especially just like big open ones. Although sometimes it felt like they were really stuck on that. Like they would rely on that too much. And maybe that's because they were like, this is a Western, but we're not going to fully commit to that.
Mm-hmm.
One that kind of sticks out is the one with Washington and Kunis, and then after he saves her or whatever, and they're walking.
Oh, right after she almost got raped.
Yeah, and it's like all like it's like that level where there's like the sand and it's them, it's the clouds, and they're a little bit like kind of far away from each other, and they kind of sit on that for a minute. That's probably one of the better wide shots I saw in the film.
Right. It's really impactful too, because you can see the trauma that she's going through, but still like in a world where you just have to keep moving, you know, and he's not going to say anything. At this point, you don't really know that he probably didn't know what was happening. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. He probably did. He heard clothes ripping, heard her screaming. I'm sure he put two and two together.
And I think it's still that, like, it's that distance to where even though she was in a town that was really, I don't even know what to call it, like volatile or however you want to say it, that she's still so far away from realizing what the world is. And so like now she's in that spot to where like even when it's framed up, he's in front of her, but there's some space in front of him and there's no space behind her. She's like on the edge of the frame. So it kind of feels as though like she's kind of has to leave that, like, okay, this isn't going to be what I thought it was going to be moving forward. Like I know it's going to be tough, but I didn't realize that I'm falling for all these like regular tropes that he's seen a million times going from the East Coast clear across the country.
I think we need to talk about how there were some problems in this movie.
Okay, I got one. I'll start it off. I hate fight scenes where they attack one person at a time when you have a group of people. And that seemed to be the only way they went after Denzel. And I just was like, is that really your best strategy? Is that how you're going to go at this?
There was literally a YouTube video I just watched talking about this, making fun of it. I can't remember what it was. And so I wrote down, oh, let's all attack him at once. Just kidding, one at a time.
Yep. It's not this movie alone that does that. A lot of movies do that, but it popped out at me in this one.
I didn't really like the slow motion effects in a lot of the aspects. I felt like they didn't really add a lot to it other than take me out of the movie. There were a few times it felt like it added to the dramatization of the film, but I can't for the life of me remember what they were specifically. But just generally, I felt like it threw me off. It didn't seem right for us to have this character walking really slow through this deserted wasteland with no real emphasis.
Yeah, that's a bit of a pacing issue, which is something I felt with this movie too, where it felt like it was dragging a little bit between action scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, okay, let's get to the next action scene. That's where you guys are shining right now. Like, I don't need all of this sitting and talking in dark, poorly lit rooms.
Yeah, that was kind of my biggest bad, was just the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
I really struggled with those just dark, heavy shadows. I really was not a fan of it. And I felt like there would have been a really easy way to fix that. But I don't know. It's just a bummer. I think it would have looked a lot better if it had even a little bit more of a documentary feel with just, I don't know what I'm talking about. I shouldn't talk about film stuff with you two.
Stop.
You guys have such a better eye of everything than me.
I don't know. I don't think the light bothered me a lot because I figured that there'd be no light. There's no electricity, so I didn't really think. I never thought twice about it. Like, okay, there's a lack of this here. And one thing I would have liked if it was like a bit more banter between the principal characters. It felt like it was just kind of mentioned real quick and he was gone. Like I kind of really wanted a little bit more in between there. Maybe even some more with I can't think of the mom who was blind. I can't think of her name.
Oh yeah,
now.
Claudia.
Even a little bit more of her character, a little bit more. That I think that would have helped me a lot because then you don't know how long that he's been with her or how he found her or however it works.
Oh, I completely agree with that. I felt it was incredibly confusing seeing him washing her hair with this very highly coveted shampoo, and then suddenly he's dragging her on the floor in front of her daughter. You know, it just felt like there was so much to unpack there that we never got.
So again, this goes back to the twist. Him reciting the Bible verse for verse. How long did that take? How accurate was he? Like, I just have so many questions about what's in that book.
Did you
that they're calling
do the
the King
calculations?
James Bible? No, I didn't do the math on this one.
I looked it up. It would have taken about 66 days if they had been doing 8 hours a day.
And then he just dies right after, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think the only reason that he was staying alive was to finish his purpose. So
Which, I mean, is not unbelievable in that regard of someone staying alive for some, like they really are trying to stay alive for one particular reason. Like we have seen that in society. But from a gut wound, I'm sorry. Like that was really unbelievable to be able to last that long in reality. But whatever. I was on board with it. Not like, I love this, but it was like, I'll accept this. Because they got me good. Just like Carnegie.
Also, there's no Bibles anywhere. Like, that's the last one.
Oh my God.
There's not some motel somewhere. We're sitting in the drawer.
Yeah.
You got a Gideon's Bible.
Can I just point out that they had the Old Testament? They literally had the fucking Old Testament. He slides it in by a Torah, like, and the Quran, which I'm like, okay, kids, like this is fucking stupid. You gotta be kidding me. Didn't need to memorize the first half of the fucking Bible.
But it's not the King James translation.
Oh my God, who the fuck cares?
James does.
Eli does too, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, like, the religious undertones, they didn't seem super obvious to me. I think maybe watching it again, I could see it like thrown in my face, different references here and there. So that didn't really bother me as much as other things. For example, Eli getting shot at, like as fucking badass as that was, I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? The Bible is deflecting bullets? What the fuck? I was so angry by that. So angry.
Well, and Brandon, that's a Western trope, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
shoot a guy and pull it out. No, the Bible blocked the bullet.
Right. Or it's. I kind of took it as though like it's like these guys are bad shots. That's how I took it.
They're
as.
all
Like,
fucking stormtroopers.
Like right. Like who are they really shooting at? Like that's what. And this guy's been like. What did the first guy say when he walked in? He said, "We don't really see anybody your age walk through here." So like he's been at this for a long time. Like there was something, somebody said something. What was it? Beware of the old man in a world where men die young. Like, so like he's that motherfucker. Like he's that guy. Like, so it's almost like there's nothing he hasn't seen. So I think when he turned his back and they're shooting at him and is whizzing off of him, I'm like, either he had to know that they were going to pull on him, but I think he was just trying to walk away from it. And then like, they're probably bad shots. Like, who are they shooting on a regular basis that far?
Yeah, well, you know who's not a bad shot? The blind guy.
And again, like we don't know what happened to him that like 20 some years, that probably 25 years before everything happened. He could have been training for something. He may have. I want to say he's always been blind.
I think he had to have been, because
I think so too.
Reading Braille is not something that you can learn on the fly. It's just like reading, letters. It's not easy.
Especially post-apocalypse. I'm sure there's not a lot of Braille classes happening at the local Y.
Right. So like we don't know how you don't know if he had to have been trained someplace. In 30 years worth of like walking the earth, picking up stuff, I'm pretty sure he had like a decent skill set someplace. I mean, I'm trying to make it believable for myself because I like the story.
Can I shatter your bubble there, Brandon? Because when Mila Kunis opens his backpack, there's a little name tag that says like, "Hello, my name is Eli." I'm pretty sure that was like a Kmart button or something.
Could have been.
He was a Walmart greeter?
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be ready for anything. Like, he was great for Thanksgiving, right?
Hey,
that was his training day.
Black Friday, man.
It's
crazy.
Ruthless, man. It's ruthless. 70-inch TVs for like $500, man. It's like,
hell yeah.
But I imagine he picked something up along the way. Like, I can't imagine he didn't not pick
for
up
sure.
something.
He was part of the war, whatever that war was, where they burned Bibles.
Burned books, Bibles, and everything.
I'm sorry. That part honestly was one of the most unbelievable things for me, where there was a war and the war was ended by burning Bibles. Like, of the people in the world, Christianity in the United States area, like, is pretty pushed onto other religions. I feel like that's not going to happen. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just moving on.
weird.
I have two other problems.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Go for it.
Keep going.
Okay, so Solara, I didn't really hate her character. I felt like she was kind of misplaced in some of the scenes in the beginning. Just like, okay, what the fuck are you doing? This is a weird introduction. Her being like whoring herself out on behalf of Carnegie to save her mom, that was perfectly fine. But Solara crashing the fucking car so that the machete pierces itself into Redridge and he gets out and he's just like kneeling there and just dies. The way that it flips, she's fine. The machete is the problem to me. It stabs him like right in his gut. Like, how the fuck did that happen? I don't fucking understand it. The physics of it are so confusing, and I need to have a full breakdown, frame by frame, to understand where this machete is. I need a Deadpool version, like an opening of that. And then lastly, like, I know she finally makes it to, what is it? They get to Alcatraz prison or something.
Mm-hmm.
She decides to leave, and I just can't handle that shot of her wearing her sunglasses, her aviators, with the machete sheathed behind her back, just like Eli, and walking off into the sunset. Like, what the fuck?
She just disappeared. She disappeared.
What you gonna do now? I don't fucking get it. I'm needed. Or I don't even know what she says, but I hated that.
Because she said she was going home.
Yeah.
So she was going back to where she was before.
Probably take care of her mom or something, but man, it just felt weird.
The earliest tell that Denzel Washington was blind is him turning down sex with Mila Kunis.
Actually, speaking of weird. No, speaking of weird, I should have picked up on him being blind way earlier, because there was a moment where he's like closing the book and I thought it was pretty much blank. And I was like, oh, what? You locking up your diary, Denzel, after not writing in it? Okay. And I should have fucking picked up that it was not blank. There were so many moments like that, too. That was one of my biggest weirds, if you're okay moving on to that.
Yeah, do it.
One of my biggest weirds were complaints of, okay, this doesn't make sense with the lore of what's happening where people need to wear sunglasses. Suddenly he's not wearing his sunglasses. Or there was a moment where he like was tapping his feet on the stairs, which apparently I didn't put two and two together. He was trying to like find where the stairs started without tripping. You know, there were little pieces like that where I'm going, okay, that was fucking weird. But now reflecting back on it, I was like, oh, it's because you can't see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what else was I found weird was the way his arms flailed when he was shot by Gary Oldman. Did you guys see his arms? They like shot forward.
The 3 or 4 times they reshowed it over and over again.
Yeah.
That threw me off.
Oh my
God. It did.
There was like a lightning flash, so I thought God was going to intervene, but no, we're just going to show that over and over and over again.
I was gonna get Hey, I still like this movie.
No, for sure.
Oh, I still like it too.
I had another weird.
Okay.
So Gary Oldman is talking to Flea after Flea brings him all the books. Flea, the guy from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, that is Flea.
Yeah. So he's talking to his band of cronies and he tells them to go get some drinks and some pussy. And then in the next shot, it's them petting a cat. Like, is that what Gary Oldman meant when he said go get some pussy? Like, that was weird to me. There were no girls around them. It was just a cat.
None. That was Flea. I did not. I keep looking at this. Who the fuck is this guy?
I had quite a few weird things about this movie, and like right from the beginning, I was very bothered by it. There was this Sphinx-looking cat. That's all. Like, I don't know what kind of cat it actually is, but it's like a naked cat that
the
reminds
hairless
me
one?
of Egypt. And I was like, that cat's gonna eat that dead person, and that just made me laugh. So I was really out of it. And then when Denzel Washington like kills the cat, I was going, oh, okay, you know, that's going to be our hero. But then there's ash falling from the sky. And because I've been reading Brandon Sanderson books lately, I was like, oh, it's just Mistborn. The ash is falling from the ash mounts, obviously. And so then that took me out of the movie again. And then finally we get to like a fight scene and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many white people in this. Did they like kill off black people in this apocalypse?
I think they did.
Well, they do show up later in the town. But for a while, I was like, there are no fucking black people in this movie except for Denzel Washington.
None. Zero.
So I was like all over the place with what the fuck is happening? What is this world? I need more lore to like understand things.
I think we're ready to give our final thoughts on Book of
There's
Eli.
no black people in the movie. It's the one black guy. Yeah.
Let's go to Brandon and hear Brandon's final thoughts on Book of Eli.
I enjoy it. I liked it. I can't. There are things in it, but I think if you're just looking for just like one man's walk of faith, I think it actually works pretty well. Again, I like the Hughes brothers from everything they've done since they were doing music videos all the way up until this film. This is kind of technically the last film that they've done, the last big film they've done. The cinematography is good. I think to be able to stay with that whole sepia tone look is very well. I think it's edited pretty well. I know it does kind of drag in certain spots, but I don't think that's bad at all either. I like the film. It's not bad. I like it.
I agree. I liked this film. I think obviously it has some severe problems with it, but if you can throw Tom Waits in a weird ass movie, you know Emma's gonna watch it. I fucking love Tom Waits. I love that he's in just weird media. And this movie definitely had some weird elements that play to Emily's favorite things in movies. So, solid movie. I might watch it again, but honestly, the twist was so good the first time that I don't know if I really want to. Just want to keep it in my memories of feeling good.
Yeah, I agree, Emily. Stay with that. Don't go back and watch it knowing the twist, because my review is tainted because I knew the twist before seeing the movie, and for that reason, I just couldn't get behind it. I wish I could have had some virgin eyes on this and seen this untainted by expectations or knowledge, because I think I would have liked it a lot more. I still would have been hung up on how drab it looked in a lot of scenes, but the action scenes, the cinematography, it's definitely a solid entry into the Western genre and where that can go when you add a couple little elements to it, and to just how to shoot cool action scenes using CGI and that one shot approach, even if they're stitched together.
I think it's just kind of piggyback on everything. It's a movie that if you saw it at the movies, I think we saw it opening night. So you see it at the movies, it almost has that same effect of, I don't know if you guys have seen Hustle and Flow, but I saw Hustle and Flow at the movies, like maybe like that first weekend when like the kid finds the beat and it's like people in the crowd like perk up. They're like, oh, he got it. And they kind of start getting like a little amped off of it. Like the ending of that, the very end of that aha moment is kind of what carried, has like a nostalgia for me, because that's the one thing I remember is, oh, he's blind. So the second watch, again, I hadn't watched it in years. The second watch is like all these cues, and you see like, oh, how did I miss that? Because you're not looking for it. And I thought it was done well. But I wish somebody wouldn't have spoiled it for you, Ben, because it has a different feeling when it's like, oh shit, I didn't see that. How did you do that? How's he doing this?
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get the idea?
I just tried to think creatively.
We got a little extra twits late today because I was a little extra inspired, so.
Nice.
Please be silly, guys. This is going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
Number 1. So, Carnegie has the Bible and the engineer breaks the lock. Carnegie opens the book. It's not the Bible. What book is it? Or what does he see when he opens it, I guess?
A box full of Charizard cards.
Oh my God, that's fucking amazing.
The holographic ones too, like the yeah.
Fuck yes. That's their new currency.
It's a connect the dots book done in pen, but done wrong.
That's so frustrating. I was thinking that, like, at this point, this is probably futuristic. There's probably 20 Shrek movies at this point, and I was like, there's got to be like a collection of all 20 of them in a nice DVD, like platinum version or something. in the book.
The Shrek election.
Yes. Number 2, if you were Eli dictating the Bible, what phrase or passage would you add?
Okay, I got one. and somehow my ass was out.
Oh my God.
Not to disrespect the Bible at all, but I think that'd be hilarious if all of a sudden
put it after like every couple lines.
I think it would be something like, yea, and they put their mouths upon each other's genitals, and God looked onto them and said, nice. And then Eli, 469, and he turns to the guy and he winks.
I definitely would put in like some dirty joke, but it would be a really long story. I'm going to just like do my favorite joke about the elephant where he talks to a naked man and he's like, how do you breathe through that thing? But it'd be this long thing about like thinking it's a parable about some elephant talking to Adam, but it's really just ends up being that as the punchline.
Yeah.
Yes, these are so fun. All right, last 2. Number 3. I am now fulfilling the role of the engineer who is played by Tom Waits. Love him. And I have something you desperately need in this apocalyptic world. What is it?
Protector cases for my Charizard cards.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. Maybe it's a Zune player instead of the old the other player he has.
Yeah. It's not an iPod, it's a Zune.
It's a Zune.
I forgot those things existed.
The short I used to love mine. It has so many more songs on there.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I miss those days.
I do. It was a simpler time. Both of my knees worked. It was great.
Number 4, now that you know I have your item fully stocked in my collection of stuff, what are you going to barter for it? It's got to be something that you can either see or that you know you have.
Engineer.
Uh-huh.
I need the cases for my Charizard cards, but you know what I don't need? These Charmeleon cards. Because if I got Charizard, I don't need Charmeleon. So why don't you give me the cases and I'll give you some Charmeleons.
Yeah, but then I won't have cases for them. I don't accept your offer. Think again.
Could I also interest you if I added in a couple War Turtles and some Ivysaurs?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with yes. I will make do without cases for that one.
Yes.
I would go with the Michael Jackson glitter glove because nobody's gonna have that. And it's gonna shine and shimmer. So that's what I would trade.
How? Okay, I gotta know how would you get this?
I found it someplace. I went to
Neverland,
or like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, like I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, why would you blow up Cleveland? Like it's Cleveland.
They burned the Bible, but they didn't burn all of the Michael Jackson memorabilia. I don't know about that.
The King? Are you serious? The King? Why would you desecrate the King like that?
Okay, if you're gonna give me that, you got to give me something from Prince too.
The open ass chaps is what you get from Prince.
Oh fuck yeah, 100%.
Open ass chaps.
Here's your Zune.
Guess what? No Michael Jackson or Prince on it. Suck it.
Now let's all agree to never be creative again.
Real quick game today. This game's called Wait, He Was Blind the Whole Time? So
Is that what I texted you?
Yeah.
Wait, he was blind the whole time.
Games inspired by Emily's texts.
I'm going to give you a movie, and you tell me if I think the movie would be better or worse if it's revealed at the end that the character was blind the whole time. Okay, so I'm going to give you a movie.
Oh my god, I almost drowned in my water drink.
If the main character were blind, would I think the movie is better or worse?
But not the same.
But not the same. It's either going to be better or worse. Okay, the first one, Home Alone.
Oh, Brandon, I think it would be better, right?
Much better.
Much better, absolutely. Top Gun.
The original?
Yeah.
I think they'd be with it.
I think it'd be worse because they would just crash all their planes.
Yep. Much worse and much shorter. That's correct. And no volleyball.
No volleyball.
How about Greatest Showman?
Better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with better on this.
Agreed. He doesn't even see their oddities. Kill Bill.
Oh, Brandon, you're gonna have to help me with this one.
I would say better.
Why though?
Hey, it's a blind swordsman. Like, how dope is that? Like, that's
true.
not as
Fair.
That's actually pretty fucking cool.
I mean, we just saw that. That was this movie that we watched. This Book of Eli.
but you haven't seen Blind Fury yet.
I said it'd be worse.
Why?
Because I guess it depends on when she's blinded. But if they're like if they're like beating a blind pregnant woman at her wedding, like that just makes it so much worse.
Yeah,
like
that's terrible. That is bad.
How about Rocky?
Oh, I haven't seen this either. I feel like it would be worse because he would get his shit rocked.
So are both of them blind, or is it just Apollo Creed? Oh, both of them are blind?
No, it's just Rocky that's blind.
Oh.
And you find out he's like, imagine adding a 1-minute scene to the very end of the movie where it's like, oh yeah, and I'm blind. So all of the events happen just like this movie, Book of Eli, except right at the end they're like, by the way, he's also blind.
Oh, then it would probably be pretty cool.
Yeah,
much
better.
I think that'd be trash. How's he gonna run up and down the steps? How's he gonna run through like Philadelphia and not run into a car? Like, I don't.
You think there are no blind people in Philadelphia? No blind
that
people
like,
using steps?
But I mean, they're like full on sprinting though. Like, he's sprinting through. Like when he's like punching meat, like is he not gonna feel the meat come back to him and hit? Like he would die in the meat
come
freezer.
on, Brandon! You've seen the Paralympics. There's so many impressive things that blind people can
saying,
do. Come on, Brandon!
You tried arguing that a samurai in Kill Bill would be better blind than a guy fighting a pile of meat.
Well, that would be okay. All right, you got me. You're right. I'm full of shit. You got me. I got me.
But we love you for it.
How about Titanic?
Wait, which is the main character? Is it Rose or Jack?
Rose would be the main character.
I think it'd make it a better love story.
I just don't care about Titanic, so I just don't.
It would be better.
I refuse to answer.
It does make it a better love story, Brandon. You're right.
Why though? Who cares about Titanic?
Love is blind.
Fuck off.
How about Gone Girl? And I'm talking the Ben Affleck character.
Oh my god, yes, way better.
That probably would be a little bit better.
Yeah, especially just from the title. Like she could just be hiding in the house. Last one, Eyes Wide Shut.
I'm gonna say worse, and I don't know what this movie is.
Who's blind though? Is both of them blind?
Tom Cruise.
Okay, well, I didn't know if it was either Tom Cruise or his wife at the time. What's her name?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. I say it'd be better.
Not even talking about the movie, just the title, Eyes Wide Shut. If he turned out to be blind at the end, it's better.
Thank you so much, Brandon and Ben, for having just a great fucking time. We really, really love doing this. To all of our audience out there, that the few of you that are listening, we love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to our antics.
Yes, thank you.
Next week, we will be watching MacGruber with some of the folks over at The Decision Reel. Super excited to meet them. Should be fun.
MacGruber.
Again, thank you for listening. Please like, rate, subscribe, share us with a friend or two. And you can follow us on social media at IDYP_podcast on Twitter and Instagram, or you can email us at idrinkyourpodcast@gmail.com. Before we go, Emily, in your best gravelly, I want to hear your Tom Waits voice.
I gotta start singing a little bit.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, I've gotta sing.
Now give us end the episode by saying, I drink your podcast, I drink it up.
I drink your podcast. I drink it up.
Nice. Oh.
Fucking love him.
Bye, everybody.
Love you guys.
Bye, y'all.